Yo, Kpaceguy here. Hey, so it is project time. I love doing projects, and I feel like when I don't have one, I'm super bored. But this one's gonna be a fun one. So if you've been watching the channel, we are gonna tackle making this a dedicated AV rack. Yes, I have one in there, but if you haven't been following the channel, we have a subwoofer here that sounds better when the door is open than it is when it's closed. So we took the door off. But we can't just let this look the way that it looks. I didn't paint the closet when I painted the room because I painted the door itself. So I didn't paint the closet because the door is going to be closed anyway. But now that the door is off, we need to do something with this. So we're gonna make this an AV rack. The entire closet will be an AV rack, but we are also putting in the sub in that closet. And you may be thinking, oh, don't do that. You're gonna cause yourself some bad bass. It's gonna sound terrible. Well, I've already tested it, and actually that's not the case. And maybe it's because my sub is sealed, but it doesn't sound terrible at all. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this sub here and slide it in there, and it's gonna be flush with the front. So, well, the front of the sub will be flush with the front of the frame. So it's not gonna be too deep into the closet. It'll still be kind of forward, which is good. I won't get too much bad bass, but it sounds better in there than it does where it is right now. So that's what we're gonna do. But like I said, we gotta paint this closet and we gotta make racks. So I've actually already ran to Lowe's and I have some wood here because as you guys can probably see, there's already some wood around the perimeter holding these shelves up. And we're gonna just kind of keep that theme. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of equipment that need to be on shelves. So we're gonna have 6 shelves, spaced just about the same as the rack is, if we can fit it. We're gonna have, you know, the AV receiver or the preprocessor and then an amplifier and then a Blu-ray player. It's just gonna be kind of stacked like an AV rack. And we're gonna mount them to the wall with those pieces of wood. And then because the Anthem AV, or not the Anthem, but the monoprice monolith weighs so much, it weighs just about 100 pounds. I don't think I'm gonna make a shelf for it. I think I'm just gonna sit it on the subwoofer. We're gonna see. But the subwoofer's tall, so we wanna first paint the closet, then put the sub in there to see kind of how we wanna manage our rack. Actually, we'll do that backwards. Let's take the rack out of here and slide the sub in and kind of see where we want our shelves to be, then put the wood on the wall and then paint the closet when all the wood is already on there so you don't have to paint twice. I think that's the plan. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this AV rack out. The home theater will be out of commission, maybe. I'll try to leave it all plugged up so I can still use it, but we're gonna go ahead and start painting. So let's get in there. So it's kind of my job to review speakers and equipment, right? So I wanted to make sure that I had the ability to take this rack out and move or switch out anything I wanted to. That's why there's so much extra wire. I have the ability to pull the rack out and do whatever I want to, which is what I'm gonna miss being on wheels. But the subwoofer is inside the closet and I've been listening to some frequency sweeps, some just general music and trying to figure out if this is really what I want to do, put the sub here. And I can confirm that this is the best spot for this sub, weirdly enough, because 1, it frees up so much space. And then 2, it actually sounds louder in my seating position than it did just behind it. So it's still a near field sub, but it sounds better just a little bit further away than what it was. Now I did play around with my other sub up there too. And what I did was put it in my listening position and kind of walked around the room to make sure that it sounded best there. I did put it over there. I thought that having them adjacent to each other would sound better, but it doesn't. That spot right there is best for these seats as well. So the combination of the both makes for a really good, even sound right here. I can't tell which subwoofer is on. They sound like it's just one big system playing in the front of the room. So I have confirmed that this is what I want to do. So we see how tall this sub is. And like I said, that amplifier at the very bottom is my monolith. It's 100 pounds. I think it's just best to put it on top of the sub here. Maybe make a little riser or something maybe, but put it on the sub because the sub can easily support 100 pounds, but I don't want to risk putting wood on the wall and then it falling over time with the base and everything like that. I was kind of thinking maybe just keep everything in the rack and just put the rack on top of the sub, I may still do that, I don't know. It'll save me a lot of money, but there's something really cool about designing my own rack that I kind of want to just see it through, just to see what I come up with. And if it doesn't work, then yes, put the rack up there. But it may just be a simple, put it on there, put a beauty panel and make that work. I could do that, really. It's only 50 inches from the floor to the top of the Anthem, and there's more than 50 inches of space from the top of the sub to the door frame. So I have some options. I kind of want to just put all this together and see what I come up with. And if I don't like it, then we have plan B. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But like I said, let me get some more wood, put them down, we'll paint the closet, and then we'll get some shelving. All right, so all the rails are in. I guess you can call them rails. You guys can kind of see what the theme is gonna be. Anthem AVM 70, Blu-ray player, blah, 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 right? The very last shelf will be the monolith since it weighs the most. I thought I was gonna put it on top of the sub, but there isn't enough height, so I'm gonna actually put it on a shelf instead of underneath it. So we'll see how that works. But the railing system is done, and now we just gotta buy some more shelves like this to put in there. So easy enough. Then we can paint the closet so that we all have it, paint matched. One thing you want to do, so before I go unplugging everything, I want to label it so that it's easy to plug back in. So I went and got some labels here and just named them things that I can remember. So that's sub 2, that's the closet sub. Sub 1 is the sub in the front there. And then BHR is back height right, back height left. What's FHL is front height left. SL is surround left, so on and so forth. So I come to my wires and I stick them on here so that when it's time to plug that speaker wire or that cable back in, I know exactly where it's going to go, and then I can tidy it up. So I'm gonna label everything just like that before I break down the rack, and then I'll get the sub out, paint it all up, and we'll see what we're cooking with. All right, so closet has been painted. We have our rail system in, we have our boards in, and this is the first thing we put in, is the Anthem receiver. And this is where those labels become very handy now, because now that I can't see the back of the receiver or the AV processor, I can see my labels right here, and they tell me exactly what cord goes to where, so I can follow the color and plug them up to the rest of my equipment. So far, so good. I gotta go buy some more boards. These are the 2 that were already in the closet, so I gotta buy some more, cut them to size, put them in. Should be perfect. I kind of like the white underneath and the dark up top, just to kind of keep with that whole theme. Gotta paint this the frame again because the painter's tape took off the existing tape or existing paint. So is what it is. I already have some ready. So this looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Did 1 coat. It's just a closet, nothing too serious. But I like this because I can go back here behind here, and if I need to service it, I can get up there and do that, or if I need to change out equipment, I can get back here and do that. Just take off my shelf and get back there, and I can get to the back. So even though I can't slide it around like I could with my AV rack, I can at least get behind it and service it if I need to, or swap it out to do a review, things like that. So my plans are get some more shelving. I need 4 more, cut them to size, put them in, put my equipment in, get it back to being wired up. Also paint this, get that back to looking at least presentable, including this where the hinges used to be. I got to get that ready, get that better. And then we'll slide the sub in and tidy up all these cables. I don't want a rainbow right behind it. So once I get everything plugged up, we'll tidy it all together and kind of hide it away. And then I'm gonna put some plexiglass in front of this too. And I'm gonna use magnets. I'm gonna put magnets on the frame here and then just stick or magnetize my plexiglass to it so it's kind of shielded, and then if I want to get back there I can just take it off the magnets and do whatever. So it's coming along great so far, pretty happy with it, and we'll continue from there. I am happy to announce that the rack is in place and I'm very happy with the outcome. You guys are watching this all in one clip. This has been over a course of maybe 2 or 3 days, getting in some wood to paint, getting in some really cool stuff like the lights that you're going to see inside of there. Had to get them from Amazon. So this is like a 2-day process, maybe 3, but it looks really good. I've recalibrated the system. I got it dialed in, the subs dialed in. I mean, it is literally working out perfectly. Alexa, turn on amp rack lights. There we go. There we are. So I have some LED lights in there, and of course I can control them to do what I want. I've been messing around with this. This looks pretty cool. I've been messing around with just, you know, one stagnant light color, but this is really nice. And they're hidden away in the closet, so you really can't see them. It's just glowing everything. So when you turn off the light and you're watching a movie, it has a really cool aesthetic. I mean, it doesn't distract you. You can't see it in the screen at all. It's just there. That way I can still see what's going on in the rack and have a nice little aesthetic in the back of the room. It's super nice. So right now it's on this kind of rainbow kind of patternized color, but I probably will just leave it on one solid color. Actually, I'll show you. I'll just turn it to white and show you guys that. But I mean, it's so nice. So that worked out perfectly too. I've been kind of looking at my shelves and making sure things aren't falling or bowing. Things are doing okay so far. This is the monolith amp. This is the heaviest thing by far in the system, 100 pounds, and it's doing fine. This right here is already bowed because I didn't have two pieces before, but now I do. And so now it's perfect. Everything is doing well for the last 3 days. So the last thing I want to do, let me turn the light back on so you guys can see it. So you may or may not have noticed on the outside perimeter of the door, I've already stuck my magnets in place because I want to put a cover over this. I thought I was going to do plexiglass, but I found something a lot cheaper that I don't have to cut. I'm going to try that real quick and see what we think about it. And there you have it, guys, the finished result. I have the little clear sheet. This actually goes on like a dinner table or a computer desk to keep the actual desk or table from being scratched or damaged. So I thought this would be a good idea too, and it actually works perfectly because it's clear. You can't even really see that it's on, which is the point. I wanted one of these just to protect everything that's inside. I don't really have a reason to touch any of this. Everything is voice command, or I have a universal remote, so I don't actually touch anything in here. It is ventilated at the bottom so that the sub can play through, nothing's blocking it, and air can escape. There is a couple fans in there as well. And eventually I'll get something to fill this empty space, like there's my popcorn thing. I'll get like a THX sign or a home theater sign, cinema sign, just to kind of fill that empty space. But I am very much in love with this. I thought that I would hate the wires in the back. I really don't care. I really don't. They don't bother me enough to really try to hide them away. It is what it is, and I like the aesthetic that we went to. So I'll turn the light on so you guys can see the glass that's on top of it. I mean, it's super hard to see. You guys can see it when I move it, or maybe see the reflection of the lights there, but it's super hard to see. If I ever wanted to paint the room again, or if I'm moving furniture, or because this is, you know, bare floors, it gets really dusty, and now I have some protection from all of that, a lot more than I would just leaving it open. So I'm very happy with this and how it turned out. The only thing that I will touch is the Blu-ray player. I don't often watch Blu-rays. I pick and choose very seldomly my Blu-rays. I actually made this shelf yesterday waiting for the rack to dry as far as paint goes. So I made this little rack here for my Blu-rays, and they're alphabetized A through Z, and then of course starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers, whatever. So I made this the other day. These are all my movies. I don't buy movies often because there's not a lot of good movies anymore. When I do, it's like 3 or 4 a year. So I don't touch my Panasonic Blu-ray player too often. But when I do, I always make sure to get 4K. So that's my rack, guys. Incredibly happy with it. It's freed up so much space down here. The next project is to get rid of the KEF R3s. I'm kind of thinking of selling them because I want to either get more of these or get the T301s from KEF. They're flush mount speakers, so I can open the door the whole way because that's super annoying. So, but moving the sub freed a lot of space now. And so now I just got to get rid of these so I can put some wall hanging speakers on, and it freed up even more space. And I actually pushed my seating back just a little bit too now that the sub's gone, and I'm pretty in line with my surround speakers now. And I've increased my distance from the screen, and the bass sounds better here than it did a couple inches forward. So very happy with everything. I'm gonna turn the light off again just so you guys can see the room. So this is the room now, guys. It's not this blue. My camera makes it look very, very blue because of what's on the screen, but it's not this blue in here. But it's a really cool aesthetic, and this dedicated home theater space it's coming along well. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of the rack. Would you guys do anything like this? Am I wasting my time? Should I just left it how it was? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hit that like button, subscribe if you are not already, and we will see you in the next video. Kpaceguy out. Peace.